And just like that, it is Sunday all over again. Who's already tired and the week has not even begun? This guy. Nonetheless, my family still has to eat every night this week. It's just such a surprise to me. Every day they are hungry at dinner time, and I am responsible for feeding them. So even when I don't feel like doing this, it's a lifesaver for me throughout the week. So I just push through and I get it done. So I tried to pick 5 fresh meals to prep with you guys from 5 Dinners 1 Hour. And the new March items are out, and I had a sneak peek I didn't see till after I ordered my groceries, so I still selected these from what was available. So hopefully next weekend, I'll be out of town. I should get back in time Sunday to prep. Hopefully, fingers crossed. No promises though. But for those of you who are not familiar, 5 Dinners 1 Hour, you go on and you purchase your meal plan for however many servings you need for your family. We do 6 because there's 5 of us, but inevitably there's more than that here. So if it's just 2 of you, you pick a serving size of 2, 4, whatever it is. And then you can pick from the clean eating or the classic menu or a combination of both. And that gives me a little lunch menu for my kids to do throughout the week. So I'm excited to see what is new with those two. So I did pick a couple of different ones for lunches, and I'll just take pictures of those later and post those. Because again, it makes my life easier not to have to fix lunches in the morning or throw a Lunchable in there, which is not as healthy. So when you pick your 5 meals and you've got your menu together, you can print it out, and it's going to show you, I always show my email. It's going to show you your grocery shopping list. So if you do click list or go to the store, it's organized in frozen, pantry items, fresh produce, things like that. So you can organize your list when you go shopping. And then most of the pantry items I usually have. So that's just to check the box to make sure you have it and you're not out. All right, so what we're going to do first, meal number 1 is going to be easy Salisbury steak meatballs. This is off the classic menu. I feel like you could probably make it cleaner if you wanted to. So here's what your recipe looks like, and it's going to have ingredients needed for assembly, which is what we're doing, and it's going to have assembly directions. So hopefully my butter melted. It did not. Let's put it in there just a few more seconds. We're going to melt the butter. And then, so 4 tablespoons of butter, a cup of frozen chopped onion, but as you guys know, I do fresh onion. I don't like the frozen. And then we're going to do some Worcestershire. I skipped the mushrooms, but if you like the flavor but not the texture, you know, you could add, like I've got this porcini organic mushroom powder. You could always add something like that to enhance the flavor without the texture of the mushrooms, or chop them up finely. Today I am skipping this. I'm trying to remember if I already did this one. I hope I haven't. All right, so I'm going to turn the camera so you guys can take a look. And as I say every time, my setup is not the best, but it is what it is. So, all right, so we're going to chop up our onion first. And then we'll talk about the meatballs. So it's hard to find frozen gluten-free meatballs at Walmart, that is. They do have their own great value deli-made meatballs. There are pork instead of beef, and I would probably recommend using the beef meatballs for this. And these have a little bit of Italian seasoning in them, but I think it's still going to be good. And I've done this substitution before when I'm feeling especially lazy, which I had such a busy weekend, and I've got a busy week ahead and a busy weekend next weekend. I was just looking for easy stuff to put together. So I didn't have to make the meatballs, but I do like making homemade meatballs, and I think y'all have seen me do that on one other one. So we're just gonna slice up the onion here, and then I'm gonna take my food chopper and, pardon the noise, this is where you get to take out your frustrations from the whole week. Any aggression, pent up energy, just let it out. I happen to think chopping and cutting and dicing and all that is super fun. I find it therapeutic. That and doing eyeshadow. I don't know what it is about those two things, but I just love them. All right, what I should have done, let's see. Oh, okay, we're good. We're good. So we've got a bowl. Ta-da. We melted our 4 tablespoons of butter in there. And this is approximately a cup. You can do however much or however little onion that you desire. I feel like a half of an onion for any dish pretty much is pretty sufficient. So let's scoop this back up where you guys can see it better. So we've got that in there. Next, it calls for 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire. This one's going to be gluten-free, so I just reached for it. It's, gosh, growing up, I remember my mom using this, so I've just always stuck with it. So this is a tablespoon, adjustable measuring spoon. And 2 tablespoons just went in, and honest to goodness, I'm going to add just a wee bit more because I like my Worcestershire. And then what we can do, it calls for 8 ounces of sliced mushroom. So you guys can put them in there or not put them in there. Oh, as I make a mess. So mushroom powder, I'm just going to do a little bit. It's not going to take a lot. And then a 1.5 cups of beef broth. So we mixed it up this week. We switched over to a little Swanson action. I think in the beef, I might like this flavor better. I can't remember, so I'll let you know. Shake it up a bit. We're going to do a 1.5 cups. And then you're going to salt and pepper to taste. Woo. And then I'll refrigerate that and use it for something else. And then let's salt and pepper to taste. I feel like the broth has probably got plenty of sodium in it, so let's go light on the salt. And if you are on a salt restriction, definitely grab the low salt broth. I love my pepper, especially in beef stroganoff or Salisbury steak style sort of meals. That's what I had made before, I think, was the beef stroganoff. That's why I was thinking that I had already been there, done that, got the t-shirt, right? All right, so we're going to do some parsley. About a tablespoon. Again, I'm probably not going to measure this out, but I may need to take the cap off if it's not going to come out willingly. Let's see. I don't think they made the holes big enough. And this is Badia, the same one I've been using. Their spices are very good. All right, I think that is good enough. Then last but not least, now here's where you could sub out. I feel like other than the butter, you could do grass-fed butter to make it clean. I use tomato sauce instead of ketchup. Ketchup does have a bit of sugar in it. That's why it is not on the clean list. So we're going to do 2 tablespoons of that. Of course, imagine our mushrooms are already in here, right? And then we're going to place a lid after we mix, and we're going to store it in the refrigerator until cook day, because this, friends, will be our gravy. I'm going to wipe that down there. Let's get a paper towel. Okay, so I was going to show you the meatballs. Pay attention to your dates, your freshness dates. All this will be good in the fridge for about 5 days that we're making, so we'll be able to use it up. It does say gluten-free right here. And it's the pork. It's the pork Italian style meatballs. Sorry, real life. With a little bit of Parmesan. So obviously Italian is not necessarily what we're going for with the Salisbury, but I still feel like this is the lazy way. It works. It's gluten-free. I got a couple of containers of these. I probably should have gotten 3. Very good. So cook day. We are going to, and well, that is 2 pounds. That's what it calls for. So I think we're good. 2 pounds frozen meatballs, which I could freeze these. or not. 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, which is going to thicken your gravy, and a bag of steamer mashed potatoes, 16 ounces of frozen peas. We like to use the Lesser peas, and I will cook those with a little bit of butter, tarragon, salt, and pepper, kind of like French peas. That's our favorite way, and let them simmer for as much time as I have available to do so. So we're going to add the meatballs to the slow cooker, mix cornstarch into gravy mix, add to slow cooker, mix well, cook on low for 4 to 6 hours. Obviously, if I don't freeze these, it will probably be much less. And then cook the potatoes and the peas, however you want. And then you can thicken the gravy by adding more cornstarch. I either pull the gravy out and add cornstarch to that and then add it back in to keep clumps from occurring. Or you can get room temperature water from the tap or your refrigerator, mix in the cornstarch and then add it, and that's going to help prevent some of the clumping. But you want to do that and mix it in the last 30 minutes of cook time so that it has time to thicken up nicely. So that was pretty quick and pretty simple. How about that? All right, we're on to number 2. This is the slow cooked pork carnitas tostadas. This is from the clean eating plan. So yes, we had a pork tenderloin last week, but I love carnitas and I love the shredded version of it. And this is going to produce of a massive amount because, again, on the click list, I wasn't able to pick the poundage. It just sort of gives you a range. You might get the low end, the high end, and the middle. So this is what we're left with. That's okay. We'll embrace it and maybe even freeze some of it after it's cooked and shredded. And, oh, I got to pull my little spatula out. So we're just mincing up garlic, and it calls for, as usual, if y'all can guess, 2 tablespoons. So we're just going to chop it on up. And if you have the jarred kind, you can certainly use that instead. I just like fresh garlic, always have. And scrape that off, and then I'm peeling the skins out of the press. So I really don't even have to touch them. I feel like this is such a big roast. We're probably going to have to do quite a bit of garlic, honestly. Trying to break these off the bulb there. All right. Let's do some more. Oh. Takes a little bit of strength, I will say. We'll do one more lovely clove there. Don't you guys just love the smell of garlic? You smell that? I don't like it to necessarily overpower my dish, but I do like having the flavor in there. So for me, there is such thing as too much. For some people, there is never such thing as too much. So it calls for a 2-pound roast. I feel like this is like the size of a 10-pound baby. I don't know about you guys. Anyways, it's Tyson is the brand. We're going to add some cumin, and it calls for 2 teaspoons. Just trying to evenly distribute this. And no, I am not measuring it. So sorry. So this is Simply Organic. I do like their seasonings as well. And then it calls for some chili powder. This is about a tablespoon. Oh, this is going to be yummy. Y'all could add some Hershey's like dark chocolate powder to this. Ooh, I feel like that would be good too. It calls for some oregano. What I have here that I'm going to use, this has got garlic, bell peppers, onion, lime juice. Hey, baby. Canola oil. Okay, I'm going to add some oregano because that does not have anything like that in there.
Are you almost done with this film? Because I have a question.
Yeah, all right, we'll be patient. I'll be done with this segment in a moment. I'm looking for my oregano.
Okay.
What is he guarding over there? He's getting awfully possessive about something. All right, let's pull out some oregano. As I run out of my other spices, I'm slowly replacing them all with the Badia. All right, now this I really like, and I always look for opportunities to use this. It's the Carnitas slow cooker seasoning. I mean, obviously you're not going to use it often, so it lasts you, quite some time. And this is gluten-free. It's Pampered Chef seasoning. And it smells so good. So good. Liberally applying this. Liberally. As you can tell. All right, and about a half a cup of orange juice. And I'm probably just going to do all of this because this is, like I said, a really good sized. We don't really drink orange juice, so that's what I grabbed. And there is a little bit of citrus in the Carnitas seasoning. It's got the lime juice in it. But this is going to add a good amount of acidity and tanginess to the flavor. All right, so normally you would put this in a Ziploc bag. I don't have one big enough for this bad boy, and we'll probably just go ahead and do this tomorrow because I don't want it to dry out. So I'm going to saran wrap it and put the lid on top of the saran wrap just to protect it as much as possible. But on cooking day, you're going to add the pork and 3 tablespoons of lime juice to the slow cooker. Cook on low for 8 hours. Then you're going to shred the pork when it's done cooking. And then you're going to heat up some refried beans if you like those. If not, do whatever bean style you like, black beans or no beans. And then you're going to serve the pork on top of tostadas along with beans and any toppings you want, like sour cream, lettuce, cheese, salsa, things like those. And if you like avocados, obviously you can serve it with a slice of that. We're just going to use some old El Paso like taco shells, and we'll probably just do it taco style. Because Walmart was temperamental with the click list and things kept disappearing out of my cart. It was very tedious to get that list done Thursday, but I made it happen. Okay, so that was super easy prep. And you're just going to throw it in the crock pot with some lime juice, throw the lid on, set your time. Super quick, super quick. Probably the most time-consuming thing is going to be heating up your beans and shredding this, and that's not bad at all, is it? All right, on to number 3, slow cooker French onion pork chops. Okay. I'm not a big pork fan. 1 pork dish is enough for me. So I substituted 6 chicken breasts or cutlets, and I did the Walmart family pack. It's the most economical. You get these 6 huge chicken breasts for like $9.98. So that's pretty cool. So what I did was I trimmed them up because there is some parts that I don't want on there. And then threw that part away. So we've got 6 breasts in here, and I did salt and pepper on each one as I put them in the bag. And then some crushed rosemary. Not a big rosemary fan of the flavor, but mixed in with other things, I don't mind it. All right, so we've done that. And so then it says take 2 onions. You heard me right, ladies and gentlemen, 2. And because it's French onion, right? So what we're going to do is, oh, this one's not cooperating. Basically, you just want to pull them apart into rings. Just solid pieces or chunks is all you need. I think what I'll do is chop this guy in half and then just start pulling pieces. So just whole pieces of onion. This is mainly for flavor. If you love eating the onion like this, go for it. What I might do, here's what I should have done. Before I add the rest of this onion, here's what we're going to do. We're going to cheat a little bit because I like the French onion dip. And, you with the gluten-free, you can't use the traditional, is it Lipton's, I think? See, I don't even remember. It's been so long. So this is the Spice Hunter. And they've got a ranch dip as well. I'm writing it down so I don't forget all the stuff I used in here, so I can list it. So it's an organic French onion dip. All right. And I know everybody out there has done this a time or 2 or 10 with their roasts and things like that. And if I had 2 packets of that, honest to goodness, I would probably put 2 packets in. So let's just shake this up a little bit. Get it mixed up good. And then I've got another onion sliced in half over here. Ooh, that's a big piece. I'm trying to get you to separate. Come on, buddy. All right, it's just going in like that. It's hardly going to fit. Goodness gracious. And I checked to make sure because I don't think I have any onion left. Maybe I should save this guy just in case. So what we're going to do is I'll get that mixed up in a minute because I feel like it's too noisy on here. I watched the last one. I was like, oh my goodness. That bag rattling was annoying. So, my eyes are burning a little bit now. Let's see. So you can use pork chops, 6 boneless, but I did 6 boneless chicken breast. Oh, you know what? I forgot the garlic. Where am I? Garlic powder. Wait. Seasoned pork with salt and pepper, rosemary, and garlic powder. Ooh, this is Badia going in. And we probably don't even need this because we added that onion soup mix. Yummy. All right. And then we're going to zip it up and seal it. And then we're going to put the rest of the ingredients in a bowl that we can store. This one's going to be super. This is an easy week. I'm liking this. Not a lot of prep work. Not having to cook and shred things beforehand. All right, so I've got my handy dandy bowl. Let me get the lid out. And what we're going to do in here, add remaining ingredients. So 1.5 cups of beef broth. Guess what? I didn't even notice that. This came in quite handy. And this has got measurements on the side. Cup and a half. And then butter and flour. And I forgot to get those out. I apologize. So you're going to do 1.5 tablespoons of butter. Ooh, looky there. Well, we're just going to go for a larger amount. And then let me get the flour out. All right, so we're just going to do the Pillsbury, gluten-free. And what did it say? 3 tablespoons. Awesome. And I love, how many of you guys love these Velcro Ziplocs? I wish everything, oh wait, this one doesn't have it. I lied. I love those Velcro Ziplocs that a lot of these companies are coming out with. They close up so much more effectively. 2, 3. And then all we have left is the minced garlic. So that was the Pillsbury. Oops, so sorry. I jostled you guys. Are you okay? Did you get hurt? Out there in Facebook land, I didn't mean to jostle you. Okay. We're just going through the garlic today, too. Woo-hoo. All right. Just trying to loosen up some of these cloves. Awesome. Now we're going to go to town. Get the garlic going. All right, so on cook day. Did I tell you guys about cook? Yes, I did. I told you cook day. Ooh, babies. My mind. It's been a long, but not long enough weekend. Like, I haven't had time to just kind of sit and do nothing. But that's okay. Sometimes it's good not to be idle. Oh. That was a big one. Big one. One more. All right, so on cook day, what you're going to do is add the bag of ingredients and the broth into the slow cooker. You're going to cook on low for 4 to 6 hours. Sorry, just cleaning that bad boy out. Cook on low for 4 to 6 hours. Then you're going to add sliced cheese on top of the pork or chicken during the last 10 minutes. Okay, so it called for 6 thin slices of Gouda, and substitutable cheese is Munster. So that's what I got because Walmart didn't have sliced Gouda. And Gouda is a little bit hard for me to, even with my cheese slicer, to get nice slices out of it. And I could have just done shavings on there. I mean, that would have been totally fine. But that's going to be so good. And you could serve it with mashed potatoes and green beans. We may do rice and green beans because I'm already doing mashed potatoes another night. So we shall see on that. All right. Bam. We're going to move on to the next guy. All right. Number 4. Slow cooked chicken pasta primavera. This called for a bunch of garlic too. So I didn't think I would bore you guys. So last one going in, I did several. Because anytime pasta dish calls for garlic, primo. All right. So 2 pounds of boneless chicken breast chopped up into bite-sized pieces. Some garlic. And I already had some salt and pepper in here, which didn't call for, but I added it anyways. A little bit of parsley going in. And I am unsure on the flavor. So on cook day, you're going to add a jar of Alfredo, and that's going to help. So, ooh, you could add a little bit of lemon juice on cook day. That might be pretty good too. Try not to touch the sides of the bag, but get the parsley out. So 1 tablespoon of dried parsley. That is not quite a tablespoon. Tell you what, these pieces are nice and big. They're not coming through. So we're gonna cheat. All right, that was parsley. Garlic. Then we're gonna do, I had some of this left over, so I am cheating instead of grating up because I don't even know if I have any blocks left. I really think lemon juice would be good in this on cook day. I probably wouldn't have put it in here ahead of time. And then your vegetables, which I forgot to get. So mixed vegetables. Let me get my onion knife. And this is probably not going to be enough. Ta-da! Pick whichever vegetables you want in here. All right, so we're going to store this. And on cook day, we're going to pour the chicken mixture into the slow cooker along with the water, which is 2 cups, and the jar of Alfredo. And let me show you the one I used, if I can find it. I think I've showed you guys this before. It's the Classico. These guys are gluten-free. We really like the flavor in the 4 cheese, and they have different ones you could pick from, or you could certainly make your own if you wanted to. I haven't done that in a while, but I do like to make homemade. So anyways, you're going to pour that in, cook on low for 4 to 5 hours. Last 20 minutes of cook time, add the noodles and cook on high. So as you guys know, I am not a fan of the noodles cooked into a mixture, so I cook them separately and then add them all together. So let's see. Need to see if I have another container because this is spaghetti and it's barilla, which we really like the mixture of flour in this one. And of course, some big old letters, it's gluten-free, and it's got corn and rice pasta. I like corn pasta by itself. The rice pasta is too gummy for me. If you rinse it, usually it's not as gummy, but the combination ones are usually pretty darn good. So I will cook these separately, and then you can serve with garlic bread, salad, things like that.
Hey, Mom.
All right, last but not least, sheet pan Hawaiian chicken. This is off of the clean eating menu, and you can pair this with riced cauliflower or regular rice, whatever you prefer. All right, so what I'm going to do is you're going to have a bowl and 2 Ziploc bags. So let's finish cutting up the bell pepper. I just used a red and a green. You could use whatever you so desire. You can cut them up in chunks, slivers, basically whatever shape or size you prefer. And just gonna do some large chunks here. And then the onion, I'm kind of leaving what I had left. I was wrong. I did need another onion. It called for a whole onion, but my kids are not super big on just eating onion that's cooked. So, get the Ziploc bag. So the onion and the bell pepper is going to go in a bag by itself. I'm afraid that this is not going to work to my advantage. Oh, please. This is one reason I love working with flexible mats is as long as I made just a tiny bit of a mess. Let's throw you down there. I just wiped this surface off, so we are good to go. All right, so you slice the onion, add onion, bell pepper, and drained pineapple into a separate bag. So I just have some pineapple chunks from Walmart. Drained the juice out. Boom. Okay, my kids are hungry, and I need to heat up some leftovers from our birthday dinner today. Some sweet and sour chicken I made. I don't know if you guys caught that story. I kind of gave you a little recipe on how I made my sweet and sour chicken homemade. So I've not finished cutting up the chicken. I'm going to do that after I hop off of here, but you cut it into bite-sized pieces and add to a large zipper bag. Add cornstarch and salt and pepper, zip to seal, toss around. So I'm just going to add a little bit of salt and pepper, like so. And then I use the Argo, which was what I used on my sweet and sour chicken as well. And this is just going to add a nice little coating on the outside of the chicken for it to cook. So we're going to do a 1/4 cup of that after I finish cutting up all the chicken, and maybe just slightly over a 1/4 cup because these are large breasts. It did call for 6 boneless chicken breasts, and those are pretty big. I am trimming them down and getting the parts off I don't really care for. So here's our bowl. What we're going to do next, and I hope my bowl is big enough. Hang on. I've got to grab some honey. Overlooked the honey. Okay, so what we're going to do is all the rest of your ingredients that are listed, you are going to add to this bowl. And again, I hope I have enough, a big enough bowl. Otherwise, I'm going to have to hunt a bigger one.
Oh, yeah, it's right here.
Or it could be purple, or it could be black.
1/3 cup.
One second, ask her.
This, again, is Bragg's liquid aminos. It is gluten-free. You can use regular soy sauce if you want to. We like the Bragg's, especially for cooking. Now, if you're topping your rice, then we'll use the gluten-free like tamari or the choy or something like that. 2 teaspoons of garlic, so not as much as we have been using. This is going to be your sauce.
Hey, why do you say it light?
And let's see. I may just use up the rest of this clove or bud or whatever.
Could be purple, could be blue.
All right.
Could be pink.
We have successfully gone through 2 bowls of garlic here. This is going to be, we're going to have a healthy immune system this week. We may reek garlic from our quarters, but that's okay. We're going to be healthy, right? Okay. So minced garlic, soy sauce, water, cornstarch, honey. All right, 2 tablespoons, and this, I've got to put this on my list. Rice wine vinegar. We are going to polish off that bottle there. Easy peasy. We're going to put, calls for a teaspoon. My kids will probably die. Ooh, that's a lot for them. And then we're going to do 3 tablespoons of honey. Again, I like local honey. We were using the Raw Mountain or Mountain, whatever, Mountain Ridge. What was the one from Walmart? You guys know what I'm talking about. And it got close to the bottom and started granulating, which means they used cornstarch or corn syrup to fill that honey. Anytime you've got honey that starts granulating like that, crystallizing, solidifying, it means they've used corn syrup as a filler and it's not pure honey. So, you know, when you buy those little bears of honey, I mean, you realize it's not pure honey because it doesn't state so. But if something states that it's pure honey or raw honey, then you kind of expect to get a good product. But all right, so we're also going to put some cornstarch in here. And I use this for the gluten-free flour so we are not cross-contaminating and it's totally fine.
That's supposed to be you when you grow up.
And this will act as a thickening agent. So I'm gonna keep that out to use over my chicken. After I get off here, I'm gonna finish chopping that up. So we've got 2 bags in a bowl for this meal. And so we're gonna pour the chicken and veggies onto a sheet pan sprayed with nonstick spray and lined with foil. Bake at 400 degrees. I apologize for the chatter in the background. Can you be quiet for just a second?
Yeah.
Thank you. 400 degrees for 15 minutes until the chicken's cooked through. Add sauce over the chicken and vegetables during the last 5 minutes of baking, and then cook your rice either cauliflower or regular, and according to package directions. Serve chicken over the riced cauliflower and garnish with chopped green onion. Yummo. We're having a lot of chicken this week, but that's okay. I am excited. If you guys have any questions or comments, suggestions, requests, y'all drop them below. Hopefully I will be back next week to do another week's worth of meals, but there's a possibility I may not. We may have to skip next week. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, though. I'll post pictures with feedback just like I do every day that we have these, and see you guys.